Those two of those pieces, the piece that you just heard is also in the book Ministry of Motivation. Staff members, I encourage you to purchase this book for your students. If you have language arts, if you have a poetry club, this would be a great book. And it even goes beyond just poetry. There are motivational speeches in this book as well. So I just wanted to give you all a taste of what's in the book, and I'll have more information about that afterwards. But we're talking today about Still I Rise. Still I rise. What does that necessarily mean, still I rise? Well, first of all, the word still means in spite of. Everybody see this? In spite of what's happening, I still rise. I still achieve. Well, to understand, in order for you to rise, you have to take on some responsibilities. So I want to give you some responsibilities before you leave here, okay? First of all, I want you to do 4 things. I want you to learn, teach, change, and become. Learn. Thank you for those who are pulling out pens and papers. You make me feel well. Thank you. Need a minute? I'll give you a minute to pull it out. Something to write with. I want you to learn, teach, change, and become. 1, I want you to learn something. I want you to learn something. Number 2, I want you to teach somebody. Learn something. Teach somebody. When you do that, you can change some place. And the end result of that is that you can become someone. So what I'm asking you to do is to learn something, to teach somebody, to change some place and become someone. Every single person that has made a substantial contribution to the world that we live in today, when we look at all of the icons of Black History Month, American history, what have they done? They've learned something, they've taught someone, they've changed some place, and they became somebody. Every single person. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone famous. You have people in your family who have done just that. You have people in your school who have done just that. You have teachers and administrators who have done just that. Learn something, teach somebody, change some place, and become someone. So, I want you to know also that when we talk about rising, you know, rising is a byproduct of something else happening. What must something do before it rises? Fall. Something has to fall before it rises. Which means, in reference to you, something has to be planted before it can grow. So with that, I want to provide a little illustration for you all. Is that okay? Now, we're talking about am I too close to something? Everybody see this?
No. It's a tree, guys.
This is what I call the tree of cultural transformation. Now, with this, you have a tree, okay? Now, it's interesting that the concept of a tree tie into the colors of Black History Month. What are the colors of Black History Month? Red, black, and green. Well, interestingly enough, red, black, and green is the schematic for this tree of cultural transformation. Here you have the trunk, here you have the leaves, here you have the roots. Why are the roots red? Why are they red? Just shout it out.
They went through like struggle.
Red represents struggle. It represents sacrifice, but more so it represents blood. I know you said it, you just didn't say it loud enough. Red here represents blood. It represents the blood that was shed or the sacrifices that were made for generations to come. So everybody from folks in the civil rights movement to Jesus himself shed blood. Somebody shed blood for a future generation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be physical blood. It could be a spiritual blood. It could be an academic blood. It could be a financial blood. Somebody bled for you. Understand that. That's the reason why the roots are red. Now, the roots represent not only sacrifice, but what do they represent? When you think of the roots of a tree, what do you think about?
The bottom.
Foundation.
The foundation. The foundation represents the history. The foundation represents the history. Meaning that if you call yourself a tree and you have no foundation, you're a weed. Understand that. What makes a tree strong is the roots. That's what makes a tree strong. Now, understand, these roots represent the past. They represent every single person who came before us who made some type of sacrifice in order that we may live a better life. So this represents what? History. This is the history. So if this is history and this is the past, what is this? This is the present. Now the present is built as one of the visual strongest points of the tree. This represents current day individuals who are doing things that they can to help the future generation. So your teachers, your counselors, your ministers, your police officers, your parents, everyone who is doing something to help people represent the present, represent this strength, represent the trunk of this tree. Now understand that in order for things to transform, they have to travel. The struggle of blood comes from the roots up through the trunk. You get that? Now, what is this? What is that? The leaves. The leaves represent what? The future. Why is it green? Not only money, but what? Success. It's green because it represents fertility. Fertility, green is the color of fertility. Green is the color of growth. Green is the color of things that grow and manifest. So what you have here, red, black, and green, you have a sacrifice laid early, leading to the present, mission carried out. So what happens? The future can thrive and nourish. Now, understand, if these roots are dead, what happens to the trunk? It doesn't grow. Now, if the roots are dead and the trunk doesn't grow, what are those leaves? They're non-existent. They don't even grow to get to a point of fall. Now, we all understand the concept of a tree. Okay, Mr. Bryson, we get it. Red, black, and green, the roots, the trunk, the leaves, the future, past, present. We get that. Now, this is what I really want you to understand. When we're talking about rising, seeds have to be planted. Now, what happens in the fall is that these leaves are going to do what? These leaves fall. Now, when they fall, they hit the ground. And when they hit the ground, what happens? They become part of the ground. They become part of the soil. Now, this is the key point. You have to understand, whatever falls from here is going to grow again. This is where you come in. What falls from here are seeds. Now, those seeds can be two things. They can be terrific or they can be toxic. So what you realize and what you see now, you're seeing two different types of seeds being planted. You see President Obama, and then you see, or whatever you feel in your heart is a negative seed. So when you plant seeds of health, wealth, positivity, love, success, ambition, education, knowledge, those are going to fall and they're going to plant a seed. Now, also, what's going to happen is that the negative side of the tree is going to plant seeds as well. Death, poverty, sickness, envy, hatred, all my haters. Hatred, envy, sickness, poverty, ignorance, lack of education, lack of opportunity, racism, sexism, all the different isms. These are seeds that are being planted right before our eyes. So what happens is those seeds are going to fall too, and they're going to land and they're going to plant. Now what happens? What happens is when you plant good seeds in the garden, what comes up? What comes up when you plant good seeds in the garden? Just the typical thing that you see.
Good flowers.
Good flowers, what else? Grass, good fruit. But when bad seeds are planted, what comes up? Weeds, bugs, toxic things in the soil that make it hard for things to grow that are really healthy. Understand this, the key behind all of this, people, is to make sure that we have more positive seeds that are being planted than negative seeds. Do you understand that? Your job in this whole concept of the tree is to make sure that you know what kind of seeds you plant. Are you planting seeds of hatred? Are you planting seeds of ignorance? Are you planting seeds of destruction? Are you planting seeds of I don't care? Or are you planting seeds of education? Are you planting seeds of drive, ambition, love, respect, humility, wealth, health? Are you planting those types of seeds? Because the thing is that the object is to make sure that more good seeds are planted than bad seeds. That's what this is all about, people. This tree represents your decision, your choice of what kind of seeds you're going to plant. Because regardless of what seed you plant, trust me, something's going to grow. Something is going to grow, okay? And I want you to make sure that you understand that whatever grows from the tree and the seeds that you plant, you are responsible for. You will be known throughout history for what you planted, not what you dug up. You will be remembered for not what you learned. You'll be remembered for who you taught. You won't be remembered for the things that you bought. You will be remembered for the things that you saved. You won't be remembered for the people that you hang around. You will be remembered for the people that you brought up. So understand, think about those things. Those are the reasons that you all are here today. This concept of still I rise, that's what it's all about. You are going to rise because you're going to plant seeds. And those seeds have to coincide with the concept of rising. So when you drop a seed of hatred, ignorance, poverty, death, and sickness, what's going to rise? Envy, ignorance, death, hatred, and poverty. Personally, I don't like those things. Personally, I see those things attacking you all right now. I'm trying to fight that. And one of the best ways that I can fight that is to recruit more soldiers. And you all are going to be the soldiers. And when you get to a certain point, you will have the opportunity and the power to recruit more soldiers in reference to making sure more positive seeds are planted. All of the gentlemen and ladies that are in the back, your instructors, that's what they're doing right now. They're planting seeds. It may seem like they get on your nerves, it may seem like they want too much out of you, but they are actually planting seeds because they care about what happens 20 years from now. Because 20 years from now, if you become president, somebody in this room is going to say, I had something to do with that. If you become the next Oprah, someone in this room is going to be able to say, I had something to do with that. If you come up with the cure for cancer, you come up with the cure for AIDS, and you come up with the cure for Alzheimer's, someone in this room is going to say, she went to my high school, she was in my English class. I had something to do with that. And the same thing happens for the people who come after you. You're going to touch the lives of somebody who is going to change this entire world. You. And you've got to see yourself in that way. So when we talk about still I rise, before you claim that you're going to rise, think about the seeds that you are going to plant. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you very much.